Though it draws its name from an extraterrestrial species, the Alien franchise has never been just about xenomorphs. From the very beginning, it's been equally obsessed with synthetic life and how it reflects back on us. In fact, the very first film ended with a chilling reveal. Ash, the Nostromo's science officer, wasn't just a shady Weyland-Yutani spy, but an android. That single twist set the stage for decades of storytelling around artificial life, corporate greed, and the question of what it really means to be human. Since then, every major installment has revisited that theme in some way. From Bishop's quiet loyalty in Aliens, to Call's hybrid identity in Alien Resurrection, to Michael Fassbender's David, who basically became the philosopher king of Prometheus and Covenant. The synthetics have always carried the franchise's heaviest philosophical weight. They've been corporate pawns, moral counterpoints to humanity, and in David's case, even gods in their own mind. Now, FX's Alien. Earth has taken that long-running theme and dialed it up like never before. The series isn't just asking what makes a machine human, it's asking which form of synthetic life represents the future. Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're breaking down each form of synthetic life and figuring out which one comes closest to being truly human. 3 Faces of Immortality. Right from the first episode, Alien, Earth lays its cards on the table. We're told that in the future, the race for immortality comes in 3 guises: androids, cyborgs, and hybrids. Whichever of these technologies prevails will determine not only what kind of beings inherit the stars, but also which megacorporation rules the universe. So what's the difference? The show's opening text breaks it down pretty cleanly. Cyborgs are humans with significant cybernetic augmentations. Androids are fully synthetic but sentient, beings created in a lab. Hybrids are unique to Alien. Earth, they're human minds, uploaded into synthetic bodies. This 3-way competition isn't just a cool sci-fi thought experiment. It's the backbone of the show, shaping both its world-building and its central philosophical debate. And while androids have long been a staple of Alien, the introduction of cyborgs and hybrids opens up entirely new questions. Questions about identity, mortality, and whether humanity is defined by our biology, our memories, or something more elusive.
She's just a kid. Keep telling yourself that.
The androids, artificial minds in flesh-like shells. Let's start with the familiar. Androids, or synths as they're often called, are nothing new in this universe. Fans know the lineup well: Ash, Bishop, Call, and David. Each one has embodied a different side of synthetic existence. Ash was a cold company pawn. Bishop was the trustworthy ally. Call struggled with her identity. And David, well, David thought he was the next Michelangelo. In Alien, Earth, the android presence is represented most clearly through Kirsch, played by Timothy Oliphant. Kirsch oversees the children at Prodigy's Neverland facility, where terminally ill kids are prepped for mind upload into hybrid bodies. On the surface, he seems almost paternal. He cares for these kids, protects them, even comforts them. But beneath that, there's a simmering disdain for his human masters. That duality has always been the heart of androids in the Alien mythos. They're capable of loyalty, empathy, and even love. But they're also programmed, designed with hidden agendas, and ultimately owned. Their humanity is always suspect because it isn't rooted in experience. It's manufactured. In other words, androids can act human, but are they? The cyborgs. Flesh-enhanced. With machine cyborgs surprisingly are new territory for the franchise. We've seen hints of cybernetic tech in the movies, but Alien, Earth introduces the first full-fledged cyborg character in Maginot Security Officer Morrow, played by Babu Sise. Morrow isn't just a soldier with a robotic arm. He's deeply altered, body and mind. In one of the show's early scenes, we see him uploading massive amounts of data directly into his brain. He's not simply enhanced, he's transformed. And what's most fascinating is how he relates to those around him. To the regular human crew, he's both useful and alien, someone to rely on, but not someone to trust. And from Morrow's perspective, the feeling is mutual. In episode 2, he coldly tells 2 Prodigy soldiers begging for help, "I'm not your brother." That line hits hard because it shows he doesn't even see himself as part of humanity anymore. This is the paradox of the cyborg. On paper, they're the most human of the 3 categories because they start life as regular people. But as their bodies and minds are rewritten with tech, they lose touch with the very humanity they're meant to preserve. They blur into something else, something caught between human fragility and machine durability. The hybrids, human minds in synthetic shells. Then there are the hybrids, The real heart of Alien, Earth. These are children, often terminally ill, whose consciousness is uploaded into fully synthetic adult bodies. Prodigy's Neverland facility serves as the hub for this chillingly beautiful experiment, and it's here we see how hybrids challenge both androids and cyborgs. Unlike androids, hybrids aren't artificial minds. They carry real human memories, personalities, and desires. Unlike cyborgs, their new bodies aren't flesh and blood augmented. They're entirely synthetic, which means, in theory, they're immortal. Take Wendy, for example. She's one of the show's central figures, and her existence raises huge questions. Is she still the child she once was, just in a new body? Or has something fundamental been lost in the transfer? And if hybrids can live forever in these synthetic shells, what place is left for androids, who are essentially replaceable, or cyborgs, who are still fragile at their biological core? Prodigy seems to think hybrids are the future. After all, immortality plus identity preservation is a pretty unbeatable package. But that only deepens the central question. If the body is synthetic, but the mind is human, is the hybrid still truly human? Or have they crossed into something else entirely?
What am I?
Which one is more human? So here's the million-dollar question. Of the three, android, cyborg, or hybrid, which is more human? Androids can simulate humanity, sometimes even better than the real thing. They can display kindness, loyalty, and emotion, but their origins are artificial. Can programmed empathy ever equal lived empathy? Cyborgs start out fully human, but as they replace their bodies and upgrade their minds, their connection to humanity fades. They're both human and not, stuck in a liminal space where identity erodes with every implant. Hybrids preserve the human mind, but strip away the flesh. They're the purest example of, I think, therefore I am. But if we abandon the human body entirely, does that still count as human? Or is it a new form of existence altogether? The truth is, the show doesn't give us a neat answer, and that's the point. Humanity isn't something you can boil down to DNA, circuitry, or even consciousness alone. It's messy, fragile, and hard to define. Alien. Earth forces us to wrestle with that ambiguity, just as its characters do.
Can't leave us like this. I'm not your brother.
The larger themes. Who rules the future? And beyond philosophy, there's a darker, more pragmatic angle. The opening text tells us that whichever technology wins out will determine which corporation rules the universe. That's the Alien franchise in a nutshell. No matter how profound the existential questions get, corporate greed is always lurking at the edges. For Weyland-Yutani and Prodigy, this isn't really about humanity or morality. It's about profit, power, and control. Whoever perfects the path to immortality first won't just reshape what it means to be human. They'll own the future.
He's not gonna die.
Our nerdy thoughts. At first glance, Alien, Earth might not feel like the horror story fans expected. There are no chestbursters lurking in the shadows, at least not yet. Instead, the show leans into the kind of big, heady science fiction questions that echo Asimov, Clarke, and Bradbury. Questions about identity, mortality, and the blurred line between man and machine. So, which one do you think is more human? The android, the cyborg, or the hybrid? Maybe the real answer is none of them. Or maybe, unsettlingly, it's all of them. Because if Alien, Earth teaches us anything, it's that humanity isn't about what we're made of. It's about how we live, how we connect, and how we define ourselves in a universe that's constantly trying to strip that definition away. So, android, cyborg, or hybrid, which one feels more human to you? Let me know your take in the comments, because this debate might be more important than the survival of humanity itself. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more Alien Earth breakdowns.